So I'm gonna scroll to the bottom and you can see that we have services. So I'm gonna scroll here and you can see that we have H2 with the text services. So first I'm gonna add a class and I'm gonna add a container. So remember that you have to add this in 3 steps. First you set the container, then you set the row, and remember that this row should be always grabbing all the content that you want to apply the grid. And finally, you add the grid. You can see that I have some divs right here. So I'm gonna use my grid and I want to print the web design and app development and email design. I want to print this using the same width, but when we are in mobile, I want to print this one above the other one. So I'm gonna be using class called 12. Called 12 without any MD or SM will apply for all the small devices. So you can copy this, paste right here and right here. So save this. Let's remove this. Save this and reload. And now you can see that they are taking all the space. So we didn't say any change, but I'm gonna change this to column D4 and paste and paste. So reload. And I'm gonna cut this and paste right here. So reload, and now you can see that we have web design, app development, and email design. So if I make this smaller, you can see that they are one above the other one. And if I make it a little bigger in the MD size, we have this in 3 columns. So using the grid is one of the most powerful things in Bootstrap, but you have to be really careful how you mix these numbers. Maybe you're asking, is there a media query for a bigger device? Well, I'm gonna scroll a little bit and I'm going to add call LG 10 and I'm gonna add call LG 2. So I'm gonna be using these for the large devices and I'm gonna reload, and now you can see that we have the main content right here and it's taking more space than it was taking before I add this class. So if I make this a little smaller, right here you can see that it's taking this MD8, and if I make this a little smaller, 6 and 6, and finally the mobile design, it will take the main content on top and the sidebar on the bottom. So maybe finally we're gonna add here on the bottom, I'm gonna add a container. So we're gonna add a class container. And here I'm gonna add a div row. So I'm gonna close the closing div right here. So remember the 3 steps. First you create a container, then you create a row, and then you apply the grid. So I'm gonna add call 8. So I'm gonna be using 8 columns of the 12. If I reload this, you can see that this is right here. But I want to center this. You can use something that is called the offset. And I'm gonna add offset 2. So this will skip 2 columns, then apply the 8 columns, and left 2 at the end empty. So I'm gonna reload. And now you can see that we have this content empty. And I'm going to add something right here. I'm gonna add a style background color red. So save this and reload. And now you can see that we have the two columns empty here. Then we apply the 8 columns, and then we have another 2 columns empty. So you can also use the grid like this, setting some numbers and offsetting some columns. And of course, I don't pretend that you memorize everything here. The idea behind these files is that you, at the end, that you have some code that you can compare for future projects, a code that you can reuse for future projects, or that you can check multiple times. So now you can see that we have the grid, and this was really easy because we added only classes. We didn't have to add any CSS, and that's looking great. We're gonna create a full website using Bootstrap when we finish all these videos. And believe me, once you continue working with me, everything will make more sense in Bootstrap. So in the next video, we're gonna take a look at the typography classes. So let's continue in the next video.